right, ladies and gentlemen, number one guitar. My name is Chris Vincent, and here we have Mr. Julian Primeaux.
Hey.
Guitarist extraordinaire, and we're a little something different here on number one guitar this run around. We have a study in contrast. Obviously, the guitar players in the audience know that you kind of can't get two very different styles of guitar. Julian we both have quite a bit in common on the guitar, but our choice of hammer is quite different. We're going to get there later on. And later on, it is it's mid-June, and the end of June, Mr. Primeaux and yours truly will be closing out the inaugural Muddy Water Fest in Baton Rouge, and both of us are quite excited about that. Julian, you're going to take care of the closing ceremonies on Friday, and I'm going to take care of it with the raw deals on Saturday.
Yeah.
Where's yours? We'll get the plug in first.
Sure. So yeah, I'll be on Friday. That's at Brickyard, the Brickyard in Baton Rouge, Red Stick, and should be a swinging time.
Yeah, there's 70 or 80 acts, maybe more at this point. I could be wrong on that one, but there's a lot.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of music, a lot of songwriters.
Lots of songwriters, lots of different types of people, and Baton Rouge is, the folks that are running the Muddy Water Fest are pushing it hard. So we're looking forward. We'll see each other there.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
It'd be very cool.
All right. So number one guitar, we're going to do the following. I can't wait to get to this thing, but let's not put the cart before the horse. We're going to do a couple things. First of all, I'm going to ask you where this all started. Where your earliest musical memories, why you chose to do this, who was the person that you saw that, oh man, I'm doing that, and then we're going to move into you as a guitar player, and then we're going to talk about this particular number in front of us, and maybe a guitar that you write on. It may or may not be this guitar. Some people like us tend to write with one at home, use one on the road. But let's start with the early ones. The earliest memory. What is your earliest musical memory?
So, it actually starts pre-memory for me. There's one that is sort of a memory, but I kind of question if it's even real, or just something that's been told to me, and then it's like But my first time on stage was like 3, 4, 5 years old, and I sang a Wayne Toup song. Wayne Toup's King of Exotic Cajun music, and had musicians on both sides of my family, and my dad was performing at this legendary Cajun restaurant and music venue in Lafayette called Randall's, and he was performing there, and then they got me up on stage to sing a Wayne Toup song. And it's like, how much do I really remember it or not? At maybe 3 years old, it's like, I don't know. It's not a repressed memory. It's like almost like the opposite of that. Like maybe, I've heard my mom talk about it and stuff, and maybe saw a video. So it's like, is that truly my memory, or is it like, you know what I mean? But then, like, more specifically, I think, really whatever was, I started playing guitar when I was 8 years old, and
8 years old.
8 years old, yeah. And I just always loved music, and
did you have a teacher, or did you just pick it up?
Yeah, so I had a music teacher. My mom had me taking lessons, and with someone who was a jazz studies major, like a younger guy named Gino Giles, and he was a jazz studies major in Lafayette, and
shout out to the guitar teachers.
Yeah,
everybody's got a Gino.
Yeah, and so I was taking lessons with him, and the funny thing is, so I don't know if you can tell, but this guitar is left-handed, and then Chris's is right-handed. But so it was this old Yamaha acoustic that my mom owned, and but the guitar was left-handed. But like I said, I have a lot of musicians on both sides of my family. My dad's dad was a guitar player, And so he borrowed it from my mom, so from his daughter-in-law. He borrowed that guitar and he strung it right-handed.
Okay.
Right? So he flipped it upside down. And so my mom got it back from him or whatever, and then I'll go to take lessons. I took lessons for a month, right-handed, and on a left-handed guitar. And
At 8 years old.
At 8 years old.
That's a mind fuck.
And I was ridiculously terrible. And then I had to sign my name on a piece of paper in the store for something, or I had to sign something. And then I'm doing that, and they were like, "You're left-handed?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, that explains a lot." And so then they restrung the guitar left-handed, and then it clicked a lot better. So I went from being completely terrible to highly mediocre. Yeah. So and then I took lessons for like 2 years, and then kind of, stopped that, and then kind of like a year of not really playing a whole lot, and then I guess at 11, it's when more of the art bug hit me, and then it just
Early.
Yeah, and then I just became obsessed with it. Yeah, and really before even writing, before I kind of considered like. I started when I was 8, but then like 11 was when I had like my awakening as like really wanting to do it even more so than at 8. I feel like 8 was maybe a little bit more like, my mom wanted me to take lessons or something, sure. Right? And 11 was really like me wanting to do it. And
was there a moment like someone that you saw play on TV or live, or one of your family members that kind of clicked it, or was it not really a moment, it was just a time in your life where you're like, okay, time to do this?
Well, I think it was both. So like before that, I guess I started writing like poetry, and I would start writing like, basically they were like song lyrics, I guess, almost even more than they were poetry, which you can make an argument of what's the difference, but and then and just I guess with my mom, someone moved in with us, and he played guitar, and he would talk about like Kiss and all these different bands and stuff, and I was like, oh, I play guitar, and I took out my guitar and I sucked, and then they all left one day, and my I have a younger brother, he went with him, and I was home alone, and I'm like, all right, let me like mess with this again, and it was different because it was like I was motivated to do it. You know what I mean? But he played guitar, and then that, I guess that sort of like inspired me to like want to play, more than I had in the past. And he would show me things, but it wasn't in like a proper lesson sort of a way. He would teach me certain things, or some CCR songs he knew, or whatever it might be, and and then started playing with all kind of different, kids around my age and stuff, and rocking and rolling and all that.
I was gonna say, you're a rock and roll player, you're a blues player, you're a lot of different types of players.
Yeah.
From what the experience that I have with your music, it is rock and roll, it is blues. Is there somebody who's the guy or the girl that was your inspiration? We're sitting under Joe Pass, so I think that answers pretty easy.
Yeah.
Do you have a Joe Pass?
I'm a Joe Pass.
WWJD. That's what I say.
I'm gonna Joe Pass on this question. No, I'm joking. No.
It could be no one.
It's it's difficult because from just a general like music perspective, I think there's people I love like Elvis Presley, or even like I think the Spin Doctors I liked. Ace Frehley was my first guitar hero, but I think my first like really like deeper kind of like music hitting me on a certain level was like, I think being around 8 years old and listening to Van Morrison's Moondance album, and there was like this, I felt like this inner peace in me, and like I can still recall that feeling. I know where I was when that happen, and so I mean to this day Van Morrison's still one of my favorites. Now he's not a flashy guitar player at all, and he's really more of a multi-instrumentalist, or maybe more people would consider more, a singer or songwriter first and foremost. But
I'll be first to admit I didn't know he played the guitar. I thought he was a vocalist, primarily a vocalist. I assumed he played other stuff.
He's a solid sax player.
Is he really?
Solid harp player, solid guitar player. He even played drums on. He's got an album he did with the Chieftains, and he played drums and sang on that record. So he's kind of like a proto Prince almost. You know what I mean? And not as technically proficient as Prince on all those instruments, but yeah. But I mean, in terms of guitar, so I guess specifically that like Ace Frehley would probably be my first guy that I was like, okay, yeah, he's cool. But and thinking of like guitar specifically outside of the rest of the band, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because I think everything else before that, I'm thinking of it, the totality of the music, Like when I was a kid listening to Elvis, I love the song Blue Christmas. But like I wasn't thinking of, Scotty Moore or James Burton or anybody like that. Like anyone, I wasn't thinking about the guitar playing in any of Elvis's songs. I was just thinking about the song itself, and
we're going to talk about that. We're going to get into songwriting because that's very common ground.
Right, but I mean, I just have so many influences with guitar. It's like, and sometimes they're off the beaten path, weird people, and and sometimes they're more straightforward. Like
Who's the guy? I have a question. Sorry.
It's so hard.
Who's the outside guy? Like if somebody tells me the last guy. You and I, we get lots of conversations about these things after gigs, before gigs. It can be, it happens often, and people will ask me, and my answer, who you have a lot of respect for. The simple answers are going to be the guys that you would expect. A lot of jazz guys. The one that is unexpected is James Hetfield.
Yeah.
That's a rhythm guitar player's rhythm guitar player. How he can pull that shit off for 3 hours is beyond me.
Right, the king of down picking.
Down pick. And chugging away, it's not my cup of tea, but it's not my steady diet of music. But when a Metallica song is on, I will certainly listen to it. The musicianship from all those guys on record, and I know it's very fashionable to dislike. Metallica's been doing what they're doing for almost 40 years. So anybody who's got some shitty things to say about them, I think they're just fine.
Yeah.
But Hetfield's the guy playing these guitars. The last time to come out of my mouth, James Hetfield. Who's your guy? You said weird players.
So like, there's like guys that are not household names, weird, and then there's maybe, more well-known guys that are weird. But I mean, there's this guy named John Platania. He played with Van Morrison, and he's got a distinctive style, and that there's little licks and little things that he does in these songs, and that I find very interesting. But on a bigger level, like
what's his name again?
John Platania.
Platania.
Yeah, and New York guy, and but there's other people who I guess one that people wouldn't think is Adrian Smith and Dave Murray from Iron Maiden. To me, they're amazing players, and the way they play is really beyond like when they're soloing, for instance. It's really like you can take those solos out of metal, I feel like, and put them in other things. They have certain like melodic sensibility and approach, and it's the two guitar players together, the tandem of them, the way they work together.
Do they share an Iron Maiden?
Yeah, like a lot of like dual harmonies and stuff. Kind of like the Allman Brothers or Thin Lizzy. Very much like Thin Lizzy, but they have a certain like fluidity with the soloing that, but they approach it from a different place mentally. So Dave Murray more so goes in the studio and it's just off the cuff, and he just plays what he's feeling when it comes to like recording solos. Adrian Smith does more like pre-planning, writing out his solos, and then so you have these two guys trading off these solos, and it's interesting, and they're from the same area. They grew up as kids near each other, so I think they have similar life experiences, but the way they choose to to play their solos is coming from a different place mentally, and I think it's very interesting. You know what I mean? And that's something I like to do live sometimes, where it's like there's some songs that, you know, I'll do the solo the same as the record or very similar to the record, because some of them I think that the people want to hear those solos, you know. And then there's other parts in the show where it's like, okay, it's not going to be anything like that, and it's going to be a total different thing, you know. And then there's also songs of mine where, you know, I've had different lineups with the band, and so sometimes there's other guys that played. Oh, this guy was playing guitar in the band as well for a while, and he played. He took the guitar solos on a couple of the songs, but he's not in the band anymore. So when we're doing it live, I'm doing solos, and maybe I'm trying to get a little bit of his vibe, but it's definitely my own thing at the same time, you know, or doing Cliff & Chenier, the King of Zydeco, like we'll do a song or two of his sometimes, and that's not really what you would consider guitar-based music.
No,
and you know, and so like the way I approach that is a whole different kind of ball of wax than, you know, how Zydeco would typically be approached, you know. And so yeah, the rambling answer to your question, but maybe those two guys in Iron Maiden would be the like two that most people wouldn't think of so much, with the more like bluesy rock style of playing that I do.
And their names again?
Dave Murray and Adrian Smith. Adrian Smith actually, he does other stuff outside of Iron Maiden that is more blues rock, and he actually has done 2 records recently with Richie Kotzen. It's more like a blues rock kind of a thing.
He's been at it a long time.
Yeah. So
he can play that. Fucking play.
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, but yeah. So those would be some, but there's so many of them. I mean, another one, real quick, is like that. I think it's someone who doesn't get enough credit as a guitar player to me is John Lee Hooker, and in terms of blues, like, and pop staples. I'm a big Pop Staples fan too. See, it's the more I talk, the more I think about it. But like John Lee Hooker, the later records that he did, it's like, it seems like the producers would have, we're gonna have Carlos Santana, or, you know, this, you know, Los Lobos backing him up and whatever. And they're all great, nothing against them, but like, I think it's like sort of the approach was maybe to kind of like polish up those records, you know what I mean? Make them a little more pristine. But there's little things that he does that's just gives it a character. And like some of my favorite John Lee Hooker stuff, probably my absolute favorite John Lee Hooker stuff is him playing by himself.
Yeah, John Lee Hooker's music is, he didn't develop that shit with a band in mind.
Yeah, and so when you hear that and just these little things that he does, and you know, and he'll, you know, I want to grab that guitar to play it to show, but it's like, can I?
Feel free, go ahead.
So I'm left-handed, but I can play both ways.
I want to see this.
So, because growing up, the guitar is always upside down, and you know, you go to a house or whatever, like a music, whatever, you know, but so like. But like, so if you have it's a lot of like ringing out the high E sometimes I find, you know, and letting that E go. Whereas, and he played right-handed, but I just hear he lets those high strings ring out a lot. That I guess is my point. You know what I mean? You know.
now that you say that, John Lee Hooker played a lot of rhythm guitar on the treble strings of the guitar, whereas most players are gonna go where the meat is on the lower strings of the guitar.
And just letting that give it just a little character, you know, and then it gets almost like transcendental or something, you know. So he's like, well, that's not the type of lick he played, but you know what I'm saying, like, where it just, you know, it just gets meditational or something, you know.
Undeniably him every time. I mean, dislike John Lee Hooker. Very hard to dislike John Lee Hooker.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so iconic. It just might not be your cup of tea.
Yeah.
But he's immediately recognizable, and that's the whole point. If you're picking up an instrument and you're pushing buttons like somebody else, have at it. I don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah. So it's, you know, there's like a beauty and then he just does these little things that it's just like you're kind of out of time, kind of messed up from it's the modern world, you know, it's like everybody playing guitar and they're learning through watching YouTube and it's or, you know, I don't know if you hear about this stuff where like people will take it, they'll play, but then they put it in the computer and it becomes like a MIDI file, and then they speed it up, and then they fake playing along to it. I don't know if you've seen any of this kind of stuff. And then so these guys can't really pull it off live. Yeah, they can't really pull it off live. And but like, you know,
get the fuck out of here. People do that?
Yeah. Oh, but they so like, you know, and you know, so like for instance, it sounds like it's hard for me, man, seeing guitars and not touching them. But you know, like, so for instance, like if they, you know, let's just say it was, you know, like a sweep.
I got a little amplifier, but this is a very clean amplifier.
Okay.
But you might as well.
Sorry.
Just hit the thing. Here, I'll help you out.
Oh yeah.
I was expecting to get on that later, but.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No. All right, here we go.
So like, you know, for instance, if they would go like you know, any of those little clicks or little sounds, right? Because it's been made into MIDI, there's none of that. You understand what I'm saying? None of that. So it sounds perfect.
Julian,
You understand what I mean?
I have to say I don't.
This is the modern world of. What I mean is like.
Call me old.
No, I'm sorry. Okay, so think about it like this, right? Like, you know how like you know, these people, they put all this filtering on their face and right, like to make themselves, or they airbrush or whatever it may be, right? To make themselves look a certain way that's not real, right? And everybody does it, I'm not judging it, but like it's kind of like that with music, right? So you're taking the guitar, running it into the computer, it's becoming not even like a sound wave. It's basically being processed like a MIDI keyboard would.
Where's the touch come into play?
Well, there's none. So what happens is,
So what's the point?
Right, but then it's to impress people online. Like, look how perfectly I can play. Yes.
That's a shitty point.
Right. But what I mean is, I like those warts. I like that, you know.
Absolutely.
So I like that, like, you know, when John Lee Hooker's playing, he doesn't go, you know, like he doesn't go. He's like. That. You know, and it just gives it it's real. You know what I mean? It's a human being in the moment making this thing. It's not overly processed and fake, you know. It's a real meal, you know. And I you know. And there's some stuff in there that's kind of off, kind of fucked up, but it's real. It's a genuine thing, and it's, you know, it took place in that moment in time, and to me that's just like, that's the magic. You know what I mean?
Records are called records because they are a record of an event.
Right. You
People
know,
in a room making music.
right. And it's like, we're doing this this Muddy Waters festival. And and for instance, I mean, Muddy Waters record Hard Again, Johnny Winter produced, which is I guess kind of trying to go back to basics with Muddy Waters, and it's like you hear them hooping and hollering in the background on this bleed over the mics, and that's the stuff I love. It makes it real, and it's a thing that's happening in the moment. You know what I mean? And it wasn't, it just it feels so genuine and so lived in, and that's what I like. I like that. There's a song there. There's a real song there that was written, but then there's these magic moment things, and the guys are woo, in the background, and Muddy Waters doesn't know exactly when one of those guys is going to do it or not. It's just the band doing it, and you're hearing it bleed. And half of it sounds like it's coming from down the hallway, and I don't know. To me, it sounds like these blues Vikings coming down from Valhalla, or something. It's
Being
just
themselves.
Yeah.
Warts and all, without
Right.
polishing it.
Yeah. And
God,
that's what I
you're
like.
a young, you're a young guy, and it is very refreshing to hear the take that you have on music that pushes aside a lot of. I mean, technology's. We're on an iPhone. I'm on, Pro to the whole fucking night. It's not like I'm anti-technology.
Right. Sure.
But utilizing technology to be creative, have at it, and go away.
Right.
Is not, it's not your thing. It's not my thing. And if it's people's thing, I don't really give a shit. It's not my thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it continues to go where it's moving, when songs become artificially made and get jammed down your throat because people said, oh, AI is something that we should embrace in every way, shape, and form, I'm still gonna be playing this fucking guitar with my hands.
Right.
And if I'm doing it myself to no one else because AI music is more perfect than I am, I'm still gonna be playing this guitar with my hands, and I think you're gonna be doing the same thing.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
I didn't pick these things up to do anything other than that.
Right.
I didn't pick up a guitar to be a computer programmer.
Yeah.
In your case, may I ask? I'm gonna turn it a little bit, and this is good. Think about this question. What do you want out of this thing? Not in your life, not in not ultimate success, whatever success is. Who knows what that is? But with a guitar, you pick up a guitar. What makes this guitar? Number one guitar is the name of this podcast. This is your main live guitar. Why is it this one, and not any number of things? I mean, you've got a Telecaster style. Obviously, you played the shit out of it.
Yeah, this wasn't relic or anything, and the neck on the back is the wood. If you look at the edge of it, the wood is like, it was flat when I first got it, and it's like it looks like I've sanded it down, like it's beveled, and it didn't come that way. But
this one's been through it, man.
Yeah, I mean, so what led me to this guitar, and like I said, I have another one that's, I mean, I think there's a part of me that wants to be buried with both of them, but then at the same time, I guess maybe it's even more beautiful to let them live on and create more music after I'm gone, but for me, what led me to this guitar was several factors.
How long have you had it? And what is it? It's not a Telecaster,
Yeah,
or
so-
at least the neck's not a Telecaster.
Yeah.
What are
So
we looking
this
at?
is made by Mr. Rick Kelly, Carmine Street Guitars in New York, in the Village, and he makes these guitars. He's been making guitars since the late '60s, and it's all reclaimed lumber. So this body, I got this guitar, 15 years ago, 2011. But the wood, it's swamp ash is the body. It had been cut down over 100 years ago, and the neck is maple.
Is this like a New York
cut
City
down.
timber, like
Yeah,
roof timber or something
That's what
like
he
that?
does with these
No
and
shit.
stuff. I'm not sure where he sourced the swamp ash, but it's old swamp ash. So I mean, that tree was good chance it was in Louisiana. That's where a lot of the swamp ash is.
Yeah. It's not growing swamp ash isn't growing in New York.
And then this is maple. But both pieces over 100 years old. And it wasn't relic or anything when I got it. It's just playing a lot, touring with it, going to other countries with it.
For those watching,
Yeah, sorry.
the relicking is a new thing where people will take perfectly new guitars and give them to a guy to put scratches and dent on them. Imagine buying a brand new Ferrari and paying more money for it for someone to go at it with a sledgehammer. That's my 2 cents on relic guitars.
Yeah,
Julian Primeaux, take us from there.
Teach their own on that. Do what you want. But I've never owned any guitar that. Well, okay, let's say this. I've owned relic guitars, but that was natural relicking because they're 50 years old or whatever they are. But but this one, anyways, it's on the nerd end of it. It is nitro like lacquer, I guess, is what he uses. So, which is nitrocellulose was the old type of lacquer that they used to use in the 50s and stuff on guitars and so he does that or shellac, different things, but it's all old school. And the no CNC machine, he does it by hand. And before we started, you're talking about the radius on the necks, and so one of the kind of things with him is because he does it all by hand, he can't tell you it's going to be one of the typical Fender radiuses. Like it's not going to exactly be perfectly 7.5 or 9.5 or 10-inch radius, whatever it may be, because he's doing it by hand, and so it's like it might be in the ballpark of that, and it's got a big baseball bat neck, and that's what I like.
Now you hybrid pick. I saw you using a pick and you're using your fingers. Do you have a wide? This is a finger stylus guitar. It's wide. Is this thinner? It's a little thinner, but
yeah, I think this is like measurement wise. I think it's like maybe 1 5/8 or something. I think it's pretty much standard. It's it's more of a U shape, like some of the 50s Fenders, where they kind of have big shoulders on it.
That's big.
But I felt yours, it's kind of similar.
Similar.
And I like those. And the guitar I grew up playing has a big neck on it. And then for years, a lot of the guitars I would get had skinnier necks and stuff. And but the big thing for me, this is kind of leads back to why I got this guitar. Sorry, is like I'm left-handed, so it's always really difficult to find guitars, and it's a little bit better now in the modern world and I didn't come from money or anything, and so I couldn't, it was just I just played acoustic guitar, like I said, started when I was 8, and I played that till I was 11. I never touched an electric guitar for the first 3 years of playing, and then people would have right-handed guitars, and I'd have to play them a little bit upside down and stuff, and then and so the first electric I got was a Mexican Strat, and but like.
Are you a whammy guy?
Well, I think this Telecaster explains a lot of that.
I would say so. Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. It's cool when it's cool, like for me, like the Floyd Rose type of stuff is it's a lot of headache, and when it goes wrong, it's a disaster. Because I've done metal stuff. I've done every style of music, literally under the sun. I've played it. Jazz and Zydeco, blues, Cajun, punk, funk, metal, bluegrass, western swing, whatever. Bigsby's look the coolest to me of all the guitar bridges.
They look cool.
But I just
There may be something to be said for weight at the back of the guitar too. I used to not think that's the case. There might be something. I have one with a Bigsby. I'm like,
with mass on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
there might be something.
But you know, a lot of times, like if I want to do something, like, and this is part of why I like the Telecaster, is a solid. I don't just mean the wood, but like, I'll bend the neck a lot. I'll bend on the body. Like I'll put my hand. Sorry.
During the performance.
Yeah, like so if I hit a chord.
Oh Jesus.
I'll do that all the time. You know, sometimes I'll even bend up on it, like, or because you get all these little telly. It's like,
oh no,
it's telly nerd stuff,
and it comes right back. Yeah, keep it on, dude, keep it on, man. Whatever. You
so, sorry, y'all, but you know, you get all these little things like, so you have like watch, like, you know.
It's like pedal steel type stuff. Yeah, it's definitely pedal steel.
You know,
stuff, yeah.
So like I like
cool.
I like doing those kind of things, or you know.
And it,
you know,
and it comes right back in tune. Yeah.
Part of it is the big neck. You know, like this thing doesn't move, and so pretty much all my guitars now, that's what I really go for is like the big. Fat
it came
necks.
right. It didn't go out of. It didn't come
No,
back.
no.
It wasn't too long time.
And that's the other thing too. Why I'm not the biggest fan of whammy bars and stuff is, and that's what I like about the Telly and arch tops, because I also play those. But like when you're doing those bends, it's it's like more of a country thing, right? But like, see if you bend on a Strat, okay, but that high E, let's say, is going to go out of tune a little bit because that bridge is pulling against those springs. But then you have, you know what I'm saying? So you have like, you know what I mean?
Stays in. Yeah.
Or like
that is a Telecaster, my friend.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of stuff I like, but
Stock, are they Fender pickups?
No, this a guy in California makes them called named Don Mayer, and but you know I the reason why I got this ultimately, the crazy thing was this guy Rick Kelly was making these guitars, and his price has gone up a fair amount now. Still an amazing deal, I think, and I got another one on the way. I'm so excited, but
How much of it? We hold nothing back at the old number.
Yes, he charges more now, but like let me tell you. So I paid $1,500 for this guitar. Custom made. Like, these are like hand wound pickups in California by this guy Don Mayer. Rick Kelly, making these. It was a long wait, and I didn't have the money back then, so I would pay him in installments. Like I would send him the money, in an envelope or a money order, $150, $200 until I had all the money paid off, and it took me like a year, or a year and a half from the time I ordered it to the time I got it, and paid off, and that was less money. Keep in mind, I'm left-handed. That was less money than what a standard Fender reissue 50s style Telecaster was going for at the time.
I'm amazed.
And
what people charge for these.
Yeah, so and so like it was actually like cheaper for me, and just like the whole write-up of it just sounded, and everything just sounded so amazing and so cool, and this one guy in the shop making them, and I
sure as hell played the shit out of that
and
one.
But I had never owned a Telecaster before this.
Notice the neck on this, folks.
Yeah, it's
Julian plays in all the different. He plays all the notes in all the keys.
Yeah, and I tell you what,
if you're a musician, you know who I'm talking about when I say that.
Yeah, and look, I cleaned the gunk off of it a couple of days ago. The whole thing was black. But in the back, I don't know how well it'll show up, but it's very, you know.
Everything's off that neck. The
Yeah.
finishes, any of the moving parts have been rubbed off.
And yeah, and here it's like you can see how it's, you know, it looks like it's been on the beach. You know what I mean? Like
you got your money's worth, man.
But
you pay for it. I mean, people. If anybody judges you based on money or whatever, that's bullshit. You got your money's worth. It's a very, very specialized hammer.
Yeah, but $1,500 is what I paid for that, and that was to this day that's the most I've ever paid for a guitar. To be honest, you know, but I left-handed, and man, I just like, you know, I'm jealous of all you guys. You know, you find these cool old Gibsons and this and that, and like I never
make these left-handed. I mean, if they do, I never saw
yeah, that's what I mean. It's so super rare to find that kind of stuff, and so it was like, you know, it was one of those things, and but before this, my main two guitars were like were arch tops. I had two Ibanez, which were some cheaper ones, but
arch top electrics or arch top.
Well, like no, like well, one was a semi hollow, more like a 335 kind of, and then the other one was a full on hollow body, similar to this was with a cutaway, but you know, I mean, it had two pickups, but pretty similar, and you know, and I mean, but I was doing more like Western swing stuff then, and you know, playing. I guess I was doing some rock stuff and everything and blues stuff with it as well too. You know, but you have a variety of genres in your hip pocket, and look, I wouldn't be certainly not the first one to say this. I've read a number of times that the Telecaster is the most versatile of all guitars. There's a jazz guitar player, Ed Bickert, plays the shit out of one of these. Oh yeah.
And most guys, you know, in jazz. Ted Green played one.
Ted Green. I mean,
so it's you know, that's enough. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
I could easily be Ted Green.
Right. And then there's other modern. I say modern. I mean, but like Bill Frisell.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah. I mean, the thing is, just, you know, for me when I was a kid, Telecaster was like, oh man, hell no. Like, you know, that just seemed the furthest removed from what I was about as a guitar player. You know, and it was all these other things, and I played jazz and stuff too. I played jazz all through high school in the jazz band, and then I got it was all-state jazz my senior year of high school, and then I got a scholarship for jazz studies. So
shit.
Yeah.
As a guitar player in high school.
Yeah.
Usually jazz guitar is the last thing you see in a high school setting.
Yeah, but I'll tell you though.
Yeah, but when you start playing at 8 years old.
Yeah, but I was in the marching band playing trumpet, and concert band playing trumpet, and then I would, so, you know, and I would transpose like, you know, the trumpet music to guitar and this and that, you know, and different things, and that probably also was what started like me doing some of this stuff in weird keys, like, you know, I remember when I was in, I think like 7th grade or something, they asked me to play the Star Spangled Banner at school one morning for, you know, they were gonna raise the flag or something. So I brought my little Strat and my little tiny crate amp out. But I learned the music. This was before, you know, YouTube and all that kind of stuff. So I had taken the music from trumpet, because we would do it in there, and you know, but so I played it in like the key of I think it was like B flat, which is like, there's a lot of guitar players I know who don't mess with that. You know what I mean? And
playing jazz, playing B flat.
Yeah, and so like, yeah, you know, we're like these horn keys and stuff, and so I think that, like, you know, and at that point in time, I wasn't thinking of it like, oh, well, Jimi Hendrix at Woodstock played it in this key or whatever. You know, it was just like, well, this is the trumpet music I'll borrow. They asked me to do it the day before, so I just took my trumpet music home and stayed up all night learning it on guitar, you know. But like, you know, doing that, and then you know, but anyways, with all this stuff, it's like Telly was not really so much in my wheelhouse, and then over time it was like, you know, I think I always loved Hank Williams, I guess, but getting more and more into, and even though his guitar player didn't use that, but but like it was really like
One
this.
of those, yeah.
But just like getting into some of that country stuff, old school country. When I mean old school, like not some people now they say old school country is like 1990s, like no, and or they say 70s. Even that is not my thing. That's like trucker country to me. That's closer to like Leonard Skinner or something.
Okay.
I'm more into country and western, like you know what I mean, like 40s and 50s stuff. And
You mentioned Western swing. Some of that stuff's brilliant stuff.
oh yeah, I
Really
mean Eldon
brilliant
Shamblin
music, brilliant.
was Bob Wills' guitar player. He was actually a lefty. He played upside down, and you know, and but anyways, like but the Telly just sort of like, you know, I'd never owned one, and it just kind of seemed like it would be something cool. And then I felt like this guy just was such a great deal, and then when I got it, man, it was just so. It really worked with me, like, I mean, physically, like, I don't mean the appearance of how I look in a mirror, but I mean, like, way it fits on my body, and, you know, some people like the Strat because it's got, like, the little tummy cut on it, but,
There's not
I
much.
try,
There's no tummy.
I try to, you know, eat right, and something about the simplicity of it, you know, because, like, you know, it's just two knobs and the pickup selector, and it's not all kind of extra switches, because I've had guitars like that, and the thing is, for me being left-handed, a lot of times guitars I had before that, it wasn't really, oh, because this is my dream guitar, this is what I want. It's just like this was available, you know. I mean, I had a BC Rich Warlock at one point that was right-handed, played upside down. I had a lot of guitars that were upside down. The knobs are in the way, and
I was going to say that.
and that was
getting in the
one of
way,
my
right?
problems.
You
And
turn the volume off. When you're
yeah,
playing.
right, and that's the problem. I'd be doing that, or you know, playing somebody's Les Paul, and you got 4 knobs in your arm, and you know, and the cutaway, or you know, and you know, and I have a weird little theory on Hendrix playing upside down, which is it's so off subject. I'm sorry, but
People
it's like
love Jimi Hendrix.
he died when he was 27. But if you look at the way he wrapped his hand around, I know that wrist elbow shape that he's doing from whenever I got to play on a Strat or
because
something
of the
like that.
left-handedness.
Because you're trying to get out of the way of hitting those knobs and not roll them down as you're playing and stuff. But I have a theory that if he would have lived, I could have see him probably developing like some carpal tunnel wrist problems from going so far over with this like a hand puppet kind of posture. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'm
like,
picturing him play. There is that over thing,
Yeah.
or whatever. Left.
And anyways, I'm just kind of getting all lost in the weeds on this, but so you know, I can do it when I have to, and I like my slide guitars. I usually play like a Harmony Bobcat or this old Decca from the '60s. That's like my electric slide guitars. There's no knobs on them, no knob, nothing. There's just an input jack, and that's it. And it's plugged in. It's wide open, and if it goes quieter, if you see me play live and it's quieter, or it's louder, that's literally just I'm touching it softer,
It's all
or louder.
dynamics,
And there's no, you know, it's when that thing's on, it's on. And but I mean, and I got used to doing it that way. But otherwise, because those are right-handed guitars, and the knobs would be in the way, and I'd be rolling around, and I'm jumping around stage, being all wild, and it's just more shit to go wrong.
I'm with
So.
When a guitar is a machine, when it turns into a robot, have at it. I don't want it.
Yeah, and that's what I like. I just like that there's less things that can go wrong on it, you know, like, because that's another thing too, because like a lot of the left-handed guitars you'll find are usually Strat type of guitars, and they're great or whatever, but it's like, you know, you're playing on stage and the string breaks and the whole thing goes so far out of tune and wacky, and like, I mean, that's what I like about this, is just it's stable, and then if I need to fly somewhere, it's small, it takes up less room, and you know, I don't have to get so worried about it getting banged up and everything. It's like,
Can't put a hole in.
no, it's you know, it's a tool. You know, I love them. I love them. Like, you know, I mean, when I was a kid, man, I'd play guitar. I still do it now sometimes. I'll fall asleep with the guitar on, and people say I'm lying, but I'll wake up and I'm still playing. And like what I mean, like I'll doze off for I don't know how long. Might just be a couple seconds, but it's like it's didn't seem like there was a pause of me stopping. I'd wake up or I'd sleep with my guitars. Maybe not sexually, maybe so, but I would like.
You're in New Orleans.
Yeah. But no, but man, it's like and to me, it's like they're a tool, but it's like they are like a living organism, and I don't know, in my brain, it's like they all have a personality, or I feel bad if I have a guitar and I haven't played on it in a while. Like I feel guilty to the guitar or something. It's a different,
the guitars are strange. Yeah, you spend so much time with them. Some of them you develop relationships, and most of them are like acquaintances.
Yeah, exactly. And I've had some I can't, it's
some you go out on a date with and you realize it just ain't gonna work.
Right. And I've had that, and then this was it was a thing where it's just like, man, this is just like
I could tell.
It's and it resonates. It's really loud. I think it's the old wood and it's dried out.
It does move a lot of air when it's acoustic. Yeah, I noticed that. I definitely noticed that.
And I'm the type of person that like I pretty much never play plugged into an amp at home. It's all whether it's an acoustic or electric or whatever. I'm just playing and just like listening to the instrument. You know what I mean? And for whatever reason, that's just kind of how I've always been, and having to be quiet or whatever. And but this one, it projects closer to like almost closer to an arch top in that kind of way.
It's loud.
Yeah. So, yes.
All right, let's move. Let's close this out. Let's spin or not spin. Let's switch gears to the Muddy Water Festival.
Yeah.
Rouge. All right, you're bringing this. I'm bringing this. You're bringing a band.
Well, I mean,
Are you bringing a band?
well, I think he was talking to me about it being me by myself, but might have some surprises there.
We'll keep that one secret, brother.
Yeah.
And you're bringing this guitar.
I'll be bringing that. I'll be bringing some. I might bring my. I have a resonator, a Republic resonator, and an acoustic, and I'll be bringing a few things along. So yeah.
All right.
Not an extreme plethora of guitars, but a couple different things.
I understand that. And what you're gonna play? What was the name of the place again?
I'll be at the Brickyard on Friday. I think that's June 26th. The Brickyard in Baton Rouge, and as a part of Muddy Water Festival, Muddy Waters, yeah. And I'll be closing out that night over there.
It's gonna be fun, man. I like I said, like we spoke of downstairs. They're trying to plant the flag with this festival in Baton Rouge for live music, which the scene in Baton Rouge needs some help, from what I understand.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you on Friday, my friend.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
And like I said, I can't tell you how many 60, 70, maybe a couple more different acts all around Baton Rouge on that weekend, that last weekend in June.
And I think there's gonna be some other acts coming from further away too.
Yeah, the promoters are definitely doing their job.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to playing, bringing the raw deals, and the Basin is at 10 o'clock. We're gonna do our thing at the Saturday night on the 27th, and we're gonna put on a show.
Yeah.
And meet a lot of friends. I know a lot of guys. We spoke earlier. Ozone Songwriting, the Ozone Songwriters Group. I don't even know what you call it.
Yeah. Ozone
Foundation.
Songwriters Foundation.
Songwriters Foundation. They're a critical group in Louisiana. I recognize some of the names there. Barry Bears. I'm friends with Barry. Played on quite a few stages with Barry. Looking forward to seeing him again. It's gonna be fun. All right. I ask this of everybody. If you can give the most succinct piece of advice for a young guitar player, people ask me all the time, Julian, they ask you the same thing, what's the hack? And that's not the question to ask, because there is no hack. If somebody says, I wanna play the guitar like you, Julian, what do I do?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you this. Someone asked me during COVID, doing all sorts of different types of gigs, and I was hosting an open mic thing on Monday nights in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and someone came up, a younger person, teenager, and they said, "Oh, I'm gonna do this many songs, and I'll be up there for about 20 minutes." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And then they got up there, and after one or two songs, they were like, "Okay, I'm done." And they got off the stage, and I said, "Well, why are you getting off the stage?" And they said, "Well, because there's not a lot of people here, then what's the point?" And to me, that's the opposite of the hack. Is the point is that, like, if that's why you're doing it, then you're doing it for the wrong reason. So I told that girl, like for me, and I've been doing this for decades, every time I get on stage, it doesn't matter where I'm at, it doesn't matter what the money is or isn't, like it's never the motivating factor for me. And like, so I know musicians like that, I'll be honest, who, it's like, if they're getting paid this much, you're gonna get that much of a quality performance from them, and if it's the pay's down here, they don't give a shit. I'm not like that. Like, I give my all every show. It doesn't matter if no one's there, if it's packed, whatever. And that to me is the hack, is that give it your all and do it for you. Find the reason, like, you need to have a personal reason to do it that's not about trying to be someone, be famous, whatever, be you, but like, do it because it's resonating within you, and it's something that like speaks to you. And I mean, when I was growing up, part of town I grew up on, we didn't have a music store. There was a repair shop this old man had, and he would let me go and buy one string, because I couldn't afford a set of strings. I would buy one string from him for like $1. But the other thing I would do, and I still, I'll take a string when the end breaks off the ball. I would take the string, I'd take more of it off of the here, and I would tie it, and I would use the string again.
Make a ball or whatever.
Yeah, I would take the old ball and I would tie it off and do it, and I would do it till there wasn't enough string left, and that's how passionate I was about it. You know what I mean? And like, and I would do that on every string, and like, because it's just like, because I want to play, and I'd sit there at home, and if there wasn't enough string left to make that string, I would play on 5 strings, or 4 or whatever, and it's, I mean, it's like, you got to have that engine revving inside you, that's in your heart, that you have this burning passion, and this is something that you want to express and something you want to do. There's no hack beyond. There is no hack. I mean, to me, it's just really like, you got to have a fire in you that you want to be doing this with, and that is, beyond any other human around you or whatever. And there's no cheat code with that,
No, there's not.
So
I'm very much looking forward to seeing you on that stage in a couple weeks, my friend. Very, very much so. Julian Primeaux, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Julian and I will see you in Baton Rouge at the Muddy Water Festival to close out this month. Julian, 27th?
26.
26?
You're on 27.
27th. Thank you, brother. We will see
Thank
you.
you, man.
Your passion is infectious. Thanks for the lesson on the Telecasters. I kind of knew a little bit about them beforehand. Now I know a whole lot more about this.